When we talk about incapacity planning, we're talking about planning for the contingency that you become unable to make important life decisions. So if you become seriously ill, for instance. There's two facets to incapacity planning. The first one is we want to plan for who would have control of your assets in the event that you're incapacitated. And then we also want to talk about healthcare planning and who would be empowered to make healthcare decisions for you if you're no longer able to make them on your own. In an incapacity plan, there should be 4 basic documents. The first one is that there should be a general or financial power of attorney. And the function of that document is to allow you to designate an agent that has the authority to manage your assets in the event that you become incapacitated. And then the other documents all relate to healthcare. So they should include a living will. So that's your healthcare advance directive. This is what happens if I have an incurable disease that will result in my death within a relatively short period of time. Do I want the doctor to perform CPR, administer antibiotics, patent relief, all of those kind of decisions. The second healthcare document is a healthcare power of attorney. And this is different than your financial power of attorney because this relates to who gets to make healthcare decisions for you if you can't make those decisions on your own. And then the last thing should include a HIPAA release. Sometimes that document is built into the healthcare power of attorney. HIPAA is a healthcare privacy law. It's pretty broadly misunderstood as to what it covers and doesn't cover. What it does do is it prevents doctors and healthcare providers from providing your personally identifiable healthcare information to anyone without your consent. And so you want to make sure that it's very clear that your healthcare agent, the person that you identify in your healthcare power of attorney, has access to your healthcare information so that they can make informed decisions. I think it's important to use an attorney to create an incapacity plan for a couple of different reasons. First of all, you want to make sure it's tailored to your circumstances. You want to make sure that you have considered the pros and cons of naming particular individuals in the incapacity plan. In addition to that, we want to make sure that whatever incapacity plan you have also dovetails into the larger picture of an estate plan. Right? It doesn't make much sense to have, say, successor trustees in a living trust that are different than your agents for your power of attorney, because those roles overlap. And so then all of a sudden you're setting yourself up for conflict. Who's in charge here? And so an attorney will help you see the big picture. I think that incapacity planning it's tragically, I think, the most overlooked part of estate planning. And even for very young people, I strongly advocate incapacity planning because you just never know when an accident might happen or something might come up. And so even I think it's responsible for college students to have those documents as well. I think our clients hire us to be their representation for a wide variety of reasons, but the biggest one, I think, is authenticity. We limit the number of clients we take in on a monthly basis because we want to spend the adequate amount of time with each client to make sure that we really understand you, we understand your circumstances, and we're not shipping out the same set of documents for every client, but it's highly personalized. The other thing that I think a lot of clients really enjoy is the fact that we're very educationally focused. We want you as a client to be empowered to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. I don't adopt a prescriptive approach. I'm not here to tell you what you need. I'm here to help you understand exactly what the options are to achieve the goals that you have. I think our current and past clients would both agree that they had an exemplary experience. I think that they would genuinely say that they were met with caring and compassion, that they were heard and listened to, and they achieved exemplary results. Client communication is the most important thing, in my opinion, and that's why I work very hard to keep the channels of communication open. My goal is to return an email inquiry within 24 hours. I try very hard to return telephone calls the same day that I receive them because I want you to know that I am listening to what you're saying. I'm working on your case, and I'm sensitive to your concerns. We are a very small firm, and we're a small firm by design. When I was in law school, I worked for a very, very small law firm. And my boss had been in the practice of law for longer than I've been alive. And so she had developed these rich relationships with clients, sometimes going across multiple generations, 2 and 3 generations of family members. And I was really blown away by the fact that she was able to do that. And it wasn't just a transaction; it wasn't a name or a file or a dollar amount. The goal when I established this firm was to recreate that experience and to be able to develop those deep, meaningful relationships with clients. So I will not hand your case off to another lawyer because I'm the only lawyer here. I feel really strongly about developing that relationship between the attorney and the client. Now, that being said, I don't hesitate to say if I feel like we're not a good match, if it's not a type of matter that I feel totally comfortable handling, or I feel like you may benefit from another lawyer better, I will certainly refer you to another lawyer. But once we've signed the agreement, I'm going to be doing the work on your case. Incapacity planning typically takes place in the context of a larger estate planning conversation, because we want to make sure that we have a good sense of everything that weighs into that. So again, a sense of your family situation, your goals, your assets, all of that. And so normally we talk about incapacity planning as part of a much larger picture.